There we go. All right, everybody. Sorry about that. Having some audio issues. So, anyways, so today we're going to recap a little bit of some of the trades that we took today. Today in my pre-market, I did it a little bit different than usual. I did a pretty nice size education session with everybody. Explained a little bit more on my supply and demand strategy that I use, along with some of the indicators that I use for entries. Following that pre-market, one of our members in our community saw that this was doing exactly what we were looking for. We had a nice pop, we had a nice base, we had a really, really clean entry on a low risk trade because it was just starting, and it was the exact pattern that I like to trade for continuation. So with all of that being said, we capitalized on this sucker multiple times. We traded it on the way up, we held, and we played a lot of these bounces along the way. So we entered down here, we rode it all the way up through these price levels. Using supply and demand, I had these price targets that we mapped out with the group, and we rode it all the way to the halt and through the halt, and was looking for this 815 hit, and then was actually looking for a 939 hit as well. We didn't quite make it there, but while we were holding on a little bit of our shares from down here, I was able to show our group how to look for bounce plays on this, what to expect when it gets back to the halt price, and how I like to play these halts after it halts. So you can see here that it played a lot of games. A lot of these were just very standard, very basic patterns that repeat all the time. And then you can see that I was talking to the group today after the halt that I was expecting this to halt on to the upside one more time. And I just had a member message us that said that it halted. So you can see here that we halted at 792. So we're going to see if we get a end of day clear out type situation where we might actually hit our 939 and potentially even higher. So I'm going to be watching that while I do this this little recap here. Another one that was running at the same time, and it was fun. Having two different screens being shared with our group was VOSO. VOSO was another one where we had a nice base. We caught the base and just let this thing ride. This is a recent IPO. We've been playing a lot of IPOs in our community recently. They've been trading really nice. They've been giving a lot of volatility. You can see here on the daily. But because there's not a whole lot of past data, it's not really easy to pinpoint entries and exits or targets other than using other tools like the Fibonacci levels. So you can see here that I drew Fibonacci levels on this one, but I did not draw Fibonacci levels on the other one because I already had price targets that I found using supply and demand. You can also see here that I have linear regression channels. I've been using those as well, but mostly supply and demand and the 15-minute EMA and a few other trade signals to take long entries and catch these bounces. And we caught every single one of these bounces. We caught this bounce, we caught this bounce, we caught that bounce, and even scalped one or two of them along the way on the way down. So it's really fun for me to share this kind of information with a group. If you haven't found a community that you feel like you feel at home with, feel like you can ask any kind of questions, any basic questions, I full-heartedly believe that Bullish Bears is that group for anybody looking for something like that. Even if you already are an experienced trader and you're just looking for a group of people that are like-minded just to hang out with, we have an awesome voice room that everybody chats in. So it's pretty unique. Another one that we traded was EGLX. here, we're now LGVN out of the halt. We'll see if we can get that continuation up to hit that 930 target. So EGLX, same deal here. I was expecting a little bit higher. Got a nice entry down here off of a base, and we just rode it all the way up. Took some profits off of 450, and then on this last push above 450, took some profits up here, and then just let the rest ride. And I was looking for this area to maintain a support, and it did, but then we failed to bounce and continue higher. So, but it was still a really nice trade. I only had a little bit of shares left by the time we got down to here. I added a little bit and took profits as we broke above VWAP to protect that downside. And then you can see that we broke below that level and got out the rest of my the shares that I had on, but it was still a really, really nice clean trade. And we might even see some continuation from this one tomorrow, or maybe even a little bit next week. We like to watch them for like 3 days after they have those moves, because this could be just the beginning of an uptrend or a continuation of an uptrend. So CLIR is another stock that we traded today. Same criteria, same information as all the rest. Caught a base and then rode it all the way up from about 215 to 268, taking profits at 250. And you can see here that my price targets were just shy of where we ended up. And if you guys, for those that follow me and in our trade room, you know that I usually take profits just a few cents ahead of where we hit, because a lot of times they go just shy of it. And if you do that, you'll never go broke taking profits, right? This one I also held just a few gas money shares. I was planning on catching it down here off of this last hammer. If you guys understand anything about supply and demand, you'll understand why I was looking at that spot. And we got a little bit of a bounce, but we could not break back above the 15 EMA, and we just kept going down from there. So this is another one where I might just keep an eye on it for the rest of the day to see if we can get another quick scalp out of it. But for right now, it is it's on my radar, but not on my main watch. Another one that I traded was PTLO. Bum-ba-da-bum. PTLO was another one that I saw that we had a base over here, and I just wanted to catch a little bit of that continuation. I didn't believe that we were exhausted yet. I got a little bit of a late entry over here and rode it up here, and then we got a little bit of an exhaustion and hit the third target and a regression line on our 2-minute chart. So took some profits off there. It was oh, that's not right. Well, yeah. I don't remember which. Yeah, we took some profits off there and just kind of let it ride. And same thing, I left a little bit of shares on, but because my stop was so tight, because I got a late entry, ended up taking everything off right here, because I didn't want to risk getting stopped out any further than I needed to. I gave up way too much right there on just like, we call them kind of like gas money shares. But this is the same pattern that we look for day in and day out, and catching the bulk of the move and then scalping throughout the rest of the play. Let me see what else we had. SIGA. SIGA was a little disappointing. I was expecting that when we broke open range that we were going to fly a little bit further. But you can see here, open range indicator is one of the things that lives on my chart. And I saw this pattern start right here. We started a base right here, and that's what got it on my radar. So we took a shot at it. I was looking at it right here on the open range breakout. Once this broke, I was expecting to see more volume step in because today's volume was a little bit on the low side. And I was expecting that since this was creating a new high of day here, was breaking open range, that this might get a little bit more interest since the volume kind of dried up after the LGVN and the VOSO stocks kind of hit their peaks. But we didn't really get much continuation. We hit the first risk off, which I did, and then we retested one more time, got a little bit higher, but usually when it gets a little bit higher than the previous, that's kind of a trap. So I was just looking for that for a potential trap, and now it's getting back into an area where I might be looking at taking some interest in it again. But I'm gonna take a look at the rest of my charts and see what I think. So if you guys want to learn some supply and demand strategies and learn from James and myself why we trade in certain areas and why we stay away from certain areas, supply and demand for me is king, along with volume. If you combine those two things, supply and demand and volume, you're going to be able to stay out of risky trades and potentially trade a bigger range of stocks and really capitalize on these ranges rather than just taking those 5-10 cent scalps all the time, and really capitalize on your entries and your exits, especially if you are one of those folks that falls under the PDT rule, or if you have a cash account and you're waiting for your cash to settle. This is a really great strategy to be able to sit through a lot bigger gains and let your money work for you. So again, thanks everybody for listening to my little spiel. Those are the main trades that we took today. And like I said, if you guys are interested in learning more, you can catch us in the pennies room in the bullishbears.com. We use Discord for our main chats, and you can see Discord right up here. You can see that we post very often all of our trade ideas and what's been moving. So we have alerts that go live to your phone if you want it. So just come check us out and see what we have to offer. I don't think you'll find a better value on the internet. So you guys have a great afternoon and good luck to everybody.